Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome along to the Sporty Show. I am Sara, your host, as always, and it's the three of us back at the desk since Monday. It feels like a long time. I'm joined with the one and only KlintonCod.
Poo. Let's leave the boom for later, man. Alex, what's up? What's going on? I introducing you no more, man.
Doing well. I'm excited for this weekend. We've got some really good Premier League fixtures. Serie A's got some exciting ones all across the board. And we've got Europa League tonight. We've got a few things that happened last night that we might want to dissect.
Yes.
Fun night for Manchester City in Paris.
I mean, they're going to lose again soon, so yeah, we'll get into Manchester City in a moment.
All right, here's what's coming up on Sporty TV for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we have the A-League, Melbourne versus Sydney FC. In the EFL Championship, we have Sheffield United, versus Hull City. MacArthur versus Melbourne City on Saturday. And our EFL Championship match will be Luton Town versus Millwall. And it will be Wolves versus Arsenal in the Premier League, followed by Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Bochum in the Bundesliga. In Argentina, we have Platense versus River. In the Greek Super League, we have Lamia versus Aris. La Liga match of the weekend on Sunday is Athletic Club de Bilbao versus Leganés. In the Serie A, we have Lazio versus Fiorentina. And back to Argentina for Boca Juniors versus Argentino Juniors. Lots and lots of football. As mentioned by Alex, we also have some Europa League action happening right now, so we'll keep you posted on that. Hoffenheim are down 2-0 to Spurs. Porto and Olympiacos are drawn 0-0 right now. But we do have Lazio and Real Sociedad coming up at 9 o'clock, as well as Manchester United taking on Rangers. So let's see what happens there. All right, guys, let's start off with the Champions League because it was chaos once again. One more match day left here. It will be next Wednesday, January 29th. All the matches will be held at the same time on the same day, and there's only two teams that have qualified to the round of 16, Liverpool and Barcelona. The rest is completely open. Who will make the rest of the top 8? Guys, as it stands right now, from 1 to 8, we know Liverpool and Barcelona. It's Arsenal, Inter, Atleti, Milan, Atalanta, and Leverkusen. There are 3 teams from the Serie A in the top 8. I know it can change, but are we surprised at all?
I think definitely surprised perhaps with... I'm not going to say this. Atalanta, I'm not surprised with. I think we've seen how well they did last year. They won the Europa League. I think when they were beating teams like Liverpool last season, we were all quite shocked and no one really expected it. But this season, they've really come into their own and they're not quite at it with the title race in Serie A, but they're doing well in Europe. I think it's been a season of surprises all around, to be honest. And it's good to see perhaps some teams that we wouldn't expect to see in that top 8.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, these are the teams that have been eliminated. We have Bologna, Sparta Praha, RB Leipzig, Girona, Red Star Belgrade, RB Salzburg, Slovan Bratislava, and Young Boys. But we did find a very nice video yesterday at Celtic Park with a young Celtic fan giving a little hello to the Young Boy fans who did travel abroad. Take a look at this.
Listen to them, Joshua.
Always lovely to see that. Very, very kind from the Young Boy fans who, although they're knocked out, they're happy to be here.
That's why we love football, isn't it? I mean, that obviously I've never experienced something like that, but I can tell you that kid, for the rest of that night, he was telling his Dad, do you remember this? Do you remember when they chanted, they were singing along with me? And he'll be talking about that at school on Monday. He'll be talking about school today, tomorrow. It'll be a brilliant moment for him.
He's going to be speaking about this for life, man.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be telling his grandkids this.
Honestly.
Remember when I led 4,000 people to chant after a game? I mean, how good is that?
You'd never see it happen in Madrid,
class from the Young Boys fans, because after a difficult night getting knocked out of the Champions League, it would have been easy for them to be disheartened, but no, it's brilliant to see this. It's heartwarming.
Yeah. Like I said, you'd never see it happen in this city, but credit to Celtic.
It's crazy coming from the Young Boys fans, knowing you would expect people that are matured to be able to carry this kind of stuff, but to see young boys behaving like that, it shows proper maturity. No, she's never catching it. But anyway, let's
caught it.
go.
I just try and not.
Oh, come on, you didn't get it.
Do you want me to talk? We're
Don't
going to talk
worry,
about the French team. Do you
let's
want to
go
talk
on.
about breast? Talk about breast. That's what we're doing? Good, I caught it. I just try to ignore half the stuff you say. Okay, guys, so as it stands, those are the teams eliminated. Right now, there are 3 teams in between 24th and 27th place that are trying to sneak into that knockout qualifying position from places 9 to 24. Those 3 teams are Manchester City, Dinamo Zagreb, and Shakhtar Donetsk. Let's jump right in then to what happened last night at the Parc des Princes with PSG coming back and beating Manchester City 4-2. Clinton, we have Markandé here saying it's a crisis across the entire city of Manchester.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the whole of Manchester. I mean, we still have to differ between the 2 Manchesters, though, because one of the Manchester, we clearly understand what the problem is. I can't really blame Pep. I think sometimes we should just take out all the jokes and just think about Pep as a human being. You know, I woke up this morning thinking about what that man could be going through. You know, especially what's happened to him lately. You know, it might all seem like all jokes and fun, but, you know, there's so much going on mentally. You know, he's just lost a wife, lost properties, and losing games back to back. The one thing I'm surprised is the fact that the players are not really looking at this man who has carried them for all these years, you know, delivering trophies in all-round competitions. I would have expected them to say, you know what, let's give him a reason to smile. You know, let's give him something to laugh about. This is his most difficult moment. I don't think Pep would have maybe gone through this kind of sadness in a very long time. I mean, I don't know his life. I don't know him personally. But for somebody going through divorce, if people don't know what divorce is actually very difficult. It's mentally draining. Some of us who have experience on, okay, no, let's forget about us. Let's speak about Pep. Now, it's hard. And then having a team who are not just losing in their local league, in the Premier League, or are not really performing to the standard they would expect of them. They're going to Champions League that we know when you see Manchester City facing a team, we pretty much know what the scoreline is even before they play. All of a sudden, people are able to come. How many times this season have we seen teams come back on Manchester City? This is probably the 3rd time, who knows? So I think at this point, I just sympathize with the old man, or maybe the young man. You know, things are really not really happening, and I feel so bad for him. I just hope he's able to put himself together. There are people whom, if they go through what Pep is going through, they probably would have ended it. But, you know, him being able to even sit in front of people, going through interviews, people asking him all these questions about why you're losing and, you know, why things are not working out for you. I don't know how he's able to do it. But, yeah, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the team. But I blame even the people whom he's coaching. These guys should be waking up. These guys should be saying, listen, we might be bad. The team might not be here. We might not be complete. We might be missing something. But let's just give our hearts. We are winning too. Why do we let them come back on us, for Christ's sake? You know, so it's sad, man. It's sad. I really feel bad for him.
Alex, where did it go wrong for City last night? Because, you know, the first half was a little back and forth. They obviously went up 2, but in a matter of 10 minutes from Jack Grealish's first goal for City, PSG had equalized it.
Yeah, it was. It just really wasn't their night. They went 2 goals up, and you thought that they would. City of old would have turned the screws and scored 3, scored 4, or even just shut out PSG and kept the 2-0 win. But they had their chances. They had 9 shots on target, 26 total shots. I think when I look back at the performance, it was naivety is the wrong word, but I think complacency. 2-0 up. Not thinking the game is in the bag, but thinking we're going towards a victory here. And PSG, to be honest, up until they scored their first goal, weren't looking a whole lot. They weren't looking like they were going to come back into the game. And to be honest, I have to point out Ederson in this case. You look at both of the goals, especially I think it was the second goal, where I think it's Doué's shot, and then Barcola has the rebound. He's sat on the floor.
I mean, he was reacting, and it's hard to then you go for a dive and then to get up and then go the other way.
I think he could have done a lot more in that situation. And generally, I look at his performance as a whole. I think I was disappointed. I think City could have managed the game a lot better. You look at, I think perhaps some of the changes that they made, where bringing on, I think, taking off Kevin De Bruyne, and in that moment, I know there may have been a reason to it, perhaps fitness or wanting to save his legs, but bringing on James McAtee in the 70th minute, he's not going to be the one. He's a young player, he's got talent, but I don't think he's the one you should be bringing on in these big European nights to hold on to a lead. And I look at John Stones and Akanji for that third goal. I think it was, leaving a man unmarked at the back like that is unacceptable at any level, let alone in the big games in Champions League football. And a lot of mistakes that City will ruin. I think they'll look back on last night's performance and realise that they could have done a lot better, because that game was there for the taking, and PSG were far from impressive.
Absolutely. So now we have Manchester City in 25th. They have 8 points. They absolutely need a win next Wednesday against Club Brugge. But even with a win, if they go up to 11 points, it all depends on these other teams, the likes of Benfica with 10 points, PSG with 10 points, Sporting and Stuttgart. And then Club Brugge themselves are going to want to stay up. They're only at 11 points. So it's going to be a very tense final match day in the Champions League. And even though PSG won, they're just a few spots ahead of Man City. That's how bad their campaign has been as well. I know people might say, well, they were able to come back last night. And say, you're literally fighting to stay in, not to make the top 8. You're fighting to stay in the Champions League. Clinton, do you see PSG and or Manchester City going through to the next round, going through to the knockout phase?
Well, I mean, PSG are pretty much in the hang on.
Depends what happens with Sporting, Stuttgart City, Zagreb, and Shakhtar.
Well, you see, when you look at PSG and Manchester City at this point, you look at which teams are really hungry to get onto the next level. Clearly, you could see PSG, obviously, from yesterday's performance, and you could tell that from that second half. I didn't watch the game, but just looking at the highlights, there was some kind of fighting spirit, and you could see that they were able to bank on the, they were able to bank on the bad sides of Manchester City, the loopholes. Like when you look at the defense, you could see that they were just trying to take opportunities. Look at Hakimi literally playing as if he was a forward player, not even a defender. And City, whom we know that when it comes to defense, they have one of the best at some point, but they were making some kind of mistakes that, it was almost like they just forgot about themselves. Now, if they go through to their next games with that kind of spirit, the fact is they look more solid than Manchester City at this point. Earlier, I was saying that with Manchester City, there's just so much going on with the team as well as the coach, and Manchester City are just not that team anymore. They are literally a shadow of themselves. This is not the Manchester City we used to know. The Manchester City we used to know wouldn't be even thinking about fighting for anything. They would literally just sit comfortably waiting for the rest to come join them. And right now, look at league games as well. It's not like they're doing... The only one game I've seen Manchester City play up to that standard is them playing a League One, Salford. That, and come on, like... I was even angry watching that particular game because they were scoring goals and they were celebrating. What are you celebrating for? Like, you're literally playing against Pack Boys and you're happy scoring goals. The one person that really pissed me off even more watching that game was... who you're gonna say? Who do you think I'm going to say? Guess.
Jack Grealish.
Funny enough, but it wasn't even Jack Grealish. It was the guy that plays on the left wing, Doku. Doku was the one that, in my head, I'm like, what's wrong with this man? You're like, what's wrong? Like, there are some games you play, you score goals, you don't celebrate. Like, it's not, especially knowing that you've not really been the best in the season and you're jumping like you've just scored against, Barcelona or some Real Madrid. Come on, man. So it's to tell you the mentality level at this point. Like, they are not really the team anymore. Let me tell you one simple truth. It's very easy for Real Madrid to slip up here and not even... They will literally stay where they are. Do I see them even winning... what's their next... Who are they playing next again?
Man City.
Yeah.
They're playing Bruges, who haven't lost. Club Bruges haven't lost since October against AC Milan. So it's not exactly going to be a walk in the park.
Oh, man. No,
According to the poll here on YouTube, we asked you guys watching if Manchester City will finish inside the top 24. 61% voted yes. They still believe the Blues, Alex, just like you yesterday.
Yeah, no, I still think they will finish inside the top 24. They're going to have to rely on results going their way, but it's inconceivable to see them finishing outside the top 24, which, you know, having said that, I've now probably jinxed it into existence.
Okay, well,
But no.
let's look at some other UCL action last night. Clinton, you were at the Real Madrid match where they convincingly won against Salzburg. Salzburg now being eliminated. Real Madrid now sit 16th, in the Champions League table. They are qualified for the knockout phase, but they are tied for 12 points with Dortmund, with Bayern, with Juve, and same thing for them. A win could get them in, but it also depends on what everyone else does.
Now, truth is, it's quite unfortunate that Real Madrid started the campaign when things were not really working out, especially with that first introduction of Kylian Mbappe. I mean, I'm not going to say he's the problem, but there was just something that was not clicking with the team. Now, we clearly see how solid Real Madrid have become. See, Real Madrid are not that team that they play games and people are scared. Even if they consider a goal, we watched the game against Las Palmas, you know, the first 30 seconds there was a goal, but even I was in the stadium and you could see that the fans were not even bothered at all. They knew the team, they knew where the team has grown into. Right now, Real Madrid has never looked this solid since this season started. I don't see them going into any game and not winning it. I'm telling you, for not just as a fan, but somebody who see them play. Mm-hmm. You could see how solid they are. We are looking at even, yes, they look at Luka Modric, who is 30, is it 39 or probably close to 40 now, 38? Right? 38, 39? Luka Modric?
As old as you.
Can we just end this joke? Like, you see, when I start speaking about Barcelona and I will speak about Leganes and I will speak about Getafe, yeah, but you guys will never leave my age alone. But by God's grace, you know, next year, I understand I will be 30, but
no,
you know, you guys keep reminding me of the fact that I will get to 30 like real soon. But I mean, poco a poco, whatever, mate. But now, listen, when you look at this Real Madrid team, everyone seemed to be putting up. Like, you can't look at any player and say you're not doing well. When you look at that front three, Vinicius, Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, whom people don't speak about a lot. When you look at the goals he scored yesterday, right? I feel like as much as people speak about Mbappe and Vinicius, they should be speaking about that guy even as much as them too. Because he's solid as hell. Like, my man is good. When you look at, you know, the midfield as well, we don't even have Tchouaméni and Camavinga, who are youngsters. We have, look at Modric, we have Valverde, we have Ceballos. Like, these are...
Valverde was playing at right back.
He was even playing right back yesterday as well. You know what I mean? Like, and they are putting up this kind of show. Alaba is back and he's not even starting games just yet. Now, have you thought about having Alaba and Rudiger as a pair? Yeah? And maybe having Fran Garcia? Mm-hmm. I understand that...
Mendy played last night. He started.
Mendy played. I mean, when I was in the stadium, I was looking at the vibe of people. They don't really have extreme confidence in Mendy, if I want to be very sincere with you, right? They just feel like, okay, he's... You know, I was speaking to a few fans, and they said they don't think he's up to that level of even playing for Real Madrid, but I don't think so. I think he's good, right? But when you compare him to the rest of other players, to the level they play, you would understand. But then again, one crack doesn't mean Real Madrid are that team that they play as a team. You know, it's no longer that individual stuff where you say, oh, okay, Mbappe is coming to do this or whatever, it's just Vinicius. No, they are beginning to really play as a group and they are performing well. We are talking about the starting 11. Now, when you go to the bench, right, you bring out maybe Rodrigo or you bring out Mbappe or you bring out Vinicius, you have Brahim somewhere, you know, you have Hendrik somewhere, you know, and it's to tell you how... And remember, Lucas Vazquez is a forward player. Right? And my man has been playing defense. I'm telling you that this Real Madrid, they are looking, I don't see them losing a game. Do I see them winning this Champions League competition? I see them doing it easy. I'm telling you proper facts. Like, record this video. I know you guys are good at, you know, coming back at me in the future to say, yeah, let's give you this clip. But this is the one I'm going to usually tell you. We are going to come back to this video because, bro, I have extreme confidence in this current Real Madrid.
Alex, they are playing Brest in their last match, which has been a very surprising team in the Champions League. I think for most of us, they've had a pretty good campaign. fallen off a little of late, obviously losing last night to Shakhtar, but that was Shakhtar's first win of the tournament. They kind of wanted some bragging rights, I would have assumed. But do you think this is going to be an easy win for Real Madrid?
Don't think it'll be easy. I think no game at this stage in the Champions League, and like you said, we saw Shakhtar getting an unexpected win. We saw Leipzig beating Sporting Club de Portugal, which their first win of the campaign, and I think Real Madrid will know the task ahead of them. They've seen that Brest have played really well in these opening 7 games, and they're 13th for a reason. They're looking quite firm to finish in that top 24. I don't think they'll finish in the top 8, who knows. But Real Madrid will know the task ahead of them, and I think when you look at what Real Madrid have done this season in the Champions League, they've had their performances where they've been short of the mark against Liverpool and AC Milan, but they've had the games where they've won where they needed to. Last night was one of those games. It could have been a potential banana skin, but they got the job done. They beat Salzburg, who weren't very impressive. 5-1 win, and I think Real Madrid should get the win. Whether they finish inside that top 8, I don't know. I think the other results might play a role in that, but they'll definitely get close.
You obviously have Aston Villa dropping points on Tuesday. Monaco, Feyenoord, who, let's wrap up our Champions League discussion with them because they battered Bayern Munich 3-0. And Bayern Munich now sit 15th, just ahead of Real Madrid, but all drawn for points. Feyenoord now 13 points in 11th place. Is the Vincent Kompany effect starting to trickle into Munich? The lack of experience, maybe, Clinton?
Well, I mean, like we've always said on this show, Bayern Munich are that team that without a coach, they could easily win the Bundesliga. Obviously, knowing, I'm talking about maybe 2-3 years ago,
sure.
Right? Right now, when we have Dortmund, I'm not even going to add Dortmund because at this point, I don't think Dortmund, they are really that team. But when you look at the likes of, maybe Frankfurt, Bayer Leverkusen, which other team again in Germany?
I mean, those are the ones that are mainly challenging
Yeah.
Bayern at the moment.
Yeah.
Bayer Leverkusen probably being the closest one.
Well, no, absolutely. And this is Champions League. And this is the good thing I love about Champions League. Champions League is almost like a test to see how good you are. Right? Because these days you can't really, if it's not the Premier League, you can't really judge by how good you are with other leagues. When you look at the La Liga as well, there are like 4 teams in the La Liga that you could easily say, okay, you guys will always continue fighting for first, second, and third. When you look at the Bundesliga, it's the same. We know first, second, third. When you go to Serie A, the same. Like, we always know first, second, and third. Even Atalanta just came recently to join them, right? But you look at the Premier League, you have like from first to 8, anything could happen. They are the only crazy competitive league. But when it comes to the Champions League, all of these teams come together, and you could easily see, if I are not beating a Bayern Munich easy, like, you see a Man City, we lose. I mean, it's just honestly, if there's any league I love watching now, right, and everybody knows the most exciting, it's the Champions League. Because that's, in Nigeria, in Pidgin, they will say this now when breeze go blow, foul and go open.
Some crazy stuff is about to happen.
No, I wish you understood that. So basically, this is when the breeze, God, boy, see as I want Nigerians, please, if you know how to say this in proper English, say it in the YouTube comments or any place you're watching us from, say this in the comment section. But basically, they are saying when the breeze blows, the foul yash. wait. So the ass of a fowl, okay, a chicken, a hen. When the breeze comes, what happens? You see the ass. The ass opens up. Come on, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, I'm sort of getting the gist.
Okay, so that's basically what happened with Champions League. Champions League comes with that authenticity of all the good teams coming together, and they come in with their energy. And the ones who are not good enough, who are acting like they are good in their leagues.
So we see the team's true colours.
You see the true colours, they become exposed. So basically, the power of Champions League exposes the ones who are not really equipped to be as good when it comes to European competition. So it's literally the beauty of this same Real Madrid that we are saying that they are almighty. I don't know. Like I saw somebody saying in the YouTube comment section, they played at Salzburg, which honestly, if I want to give my honest take, when I watched them play yesterday, they were actually very rubbish. Like, extremely rubbish. They were extremely bad.
Yeah.
When you look at their decision making, I'm like, I can't believe you guys are the champion. Like, do you actually play Champions League football? So if Real Madrid was not winning that kind of a team, I would have said, okay. Or if Real Madrid was winning 2-1, I would have felt like, okay, I'm scared for Real Madrid. But they did show them that, listen, you've come to the Bernabeu, you are not good enough, and we are going to teach you proper lesson. And that's exactly what they did. Brest, I mean, right now, they are pretty much ahead of Real Madrid on the league table. They are 13th currently, 1 point ahead of Real Madrid. They've pretty much done well in the Champions League campaign so far. I'm really scared, I can't lie. However, when you look at Real Madrid on paper, when you look at people who are back on the pitch again, it gives me some level of hope.
I think going just quickly back to the Feyenoord game, you have to give some credit to Feyenoord. It's not an easy place to go to cope. It's a fierce atmosphere. I look at that Bayern 2 central defensive pairing, and Clinton, you're not going to appreciate me for saying this, but I'm really disappointed with Kim Min-jae and Upamecano. I think as a pair last night, they were pretty shocking. And Bayern, like you said, Clinton, their true colours shone through, and it's beginning to look like one of those seasons where we see them win the Bundesliga, but are they going to really go far in the Champions League? They're going to finish inside that top 24, but I really don't see them going beyond the quarterfinals this year.
Real Madrid?
No, Bayern Munich.
Oh, Bayern Munich, definitely. Nah, I can easily agree with that one. Nah, 100% easy.
Yeah, I agree as well. Like, you're beating PSG, who are down a man in the 60th minute, 1-0. You're losing to Leverkusen in the DFB Pokal. They're already out. They're losing to teams like Mainz. They're drawing Dortmund. They're getting blown out by Barcelona and Feyenoord. Like, they're not scary to me. They're not scary. No. Like, I don't think they can handle it, especially as it tightens down more, as, we see teams leaving and the competition gets stronger. So I don't see this faring well for Bayern Munich. And
again, you don't understand how much I love this new format. Like, it's making it even look so amazing to watch. I have problems with people who don't like it, though. I feel like, do you not like excitement?
We said the only thing yesterday is that the addition of football, because they're playing 2 extra matches in the match. Well, no, there would be 6 match days before, and now there's 9. So 3 extra. No, 2. 8. Sorry. No.
I don't want to calculate.
6. Yeah. So there's 3 extra matches in the group league phase, and then if you go into the knockout phase, you play 2 matches extra. And if you make it, that's 2 matches on top. But then you might just not make it, like Alex was saying this yesterday. So you just have 2 extra football games that you're playing. That's the only thing I'm worried about, because the ACL injuries and this season have been a pair that we can't argue with. None of us are doctors, none of us are scientists here, but this is so blatantly obvious.
I am a scientist, actually.
Well, there you go. You can tell.
Yeah, no, I just needed to thank you for saying that out there, man. Because I was like, wait, did this girl just strip me of my degree all of a sudden? What's going on, man?
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I would say that is concerning. Yeah, it's very exciting, but we did not need to add more football to this calendar. That's the only thing.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move along to some Premier League and circle right back around to Manchester City as they are taking on Chelsea this weekend. Chelsea not in action midweek as Europa Conference League matches haven't been scheduled. They were last in action on Monday night where they beat Wolves 3-1. Looking like the old Chelsea we knew from a couple weeks ago, Alex Ashmore, and now they are playing a very battered Manchester City who are going to be licking some wounds.
Yeah, I think it's a really important game for both sides. You look at that top 4 battle now. City just 2 points behind Chelsea. A win sees them jump up. Obviously, Newcastle on 38, Bournemouth just behind on 37, Villa on 36. It's a really entertaining battle for this top 4. I think we'll see. I think that will go down to the wire to the very last day of the season. I think Forest, Arsenal, and Liverpool will stay ahead for now. But a win for Chelsea, that would really put a gap between them and 5th and below. So an important game, one that's always been entertaining, especially at the Etihad. Chelsea will know the job ahead and the task at hand. I think it will be a case of both teams trying to avoid defeat as much as they can. And I think as much as it might be a bit of a boring thing to say, I see this one being a draw.
Clinton, I don't think you have the same idea. You kind of mentioned at the top of the show that Man City are about to lose another game. Listen.
Without even thinking twice, I see Manchester City easily losing again. Sorry. Chelsea, first of all, they did convincingly win Wolves, in as much as that win was quite dramatic as well. There was a time Wolves did come back and somehow I looked at the scoreline. I didn't watch the whole of the game, and we saw Chelsea winning, and they won it 3-1, which is good enough, for a Wolf who are very good at sitting and defending. So if you're able to give them 3 goals for a Chelsea, home people are not, even the fans are not extremely confident with. Somehow they've managed to copy win on that one. I think it's the right mentality getting into a match with Manchester City, who have just been humiliated just yesterday. So when I look at Manchester City on paper and I look at what Chelsea have, and you're to ask me who is likely to win, fact is I will have to give it to Chelsea because they pretty much have the options. They have the fighting spirits. They have the fast players. They have the crazy wingers. They have, I know people don't have serious confidence in Nicholas Jackson, but when you compare both strikers, Haaland versus Nicholas Jackson, everybody would always go for Haaland. But then again, when you look at the performance of Manchester City, you will still ask yourself, okay, where was Haaland? I know you guys said it took out Kevin De Bruyne yesterday in the game and everything started falling apart. But this is the Premier League again. And remember, Manchester City, Chelsea, I've never seen any game between them 2 teams that has always been easy. When you watch them, you would literally say, and I'm even talking about as at when Chelsea were not even this good, right? When Chelsea were that team that were getting beaten by average Premier League teams, they faced Manchester City and sometimes won them.
Do you remember the game at Stamford Bridge last year, 4-4? I mean,
I think I might remember.
That was.
I might remember. Actually.
I might remember.
No. I mean, there've been like billions of games, but like I said, I don't think Chelsea would go into this game with a mindset of. Like I said, Manchester City, they are going in with really poor thinking or bad memories, So I personally, I'm giving it to Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea are in 4th with 40 points. Man City just behind them with 38 points in 5th. Newcastle just behind them with 38 points as well. So this could flip the whole table once again. But I think there's 2 sides to the coin. Yes, Man City are going to be probably in a bad headspace. It's the perfect opportunity for Chelsea to take advantage. But this could also be the perfect opportunity for Manchester City to flip the coin, win this game to then head into the final match day of Champions League next Wednesday with a little bit of grinta. You know what I mean? Like, I think them getting this win will propel them into that next game. Whereas if they lose this after that game on Wednesday is going to be painful. Even if they win, it's going to be, they're digging through that game.
Yeah, I think also another thing that plays into Chelsea's hand is the extra couple of days rest. Chelsea playing on Monday, Man City playing last night, and the travel as well. Chelsea were at home, Man City were playing in Paris. They obviously travelled back today, rest day, train tomorrow, get ready for the game on Saturday. Chelsea have had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday to get ready for this game, to recover, to mentally prepare for it. It's at the Etihad, which will be a big plus for City, but I think it will be a really entertaining game. I can see there being lots of goals in this one. Wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar to that 4-4 we had last season.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Another match that I'm actually looking at this weekend in the Prem, and tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest is going to be
crazy.
Maybe the best match in terms of quality of football.
Definitely, I agree.
Bournemouth coming off a massive win last weekend to Newcastle. Obviously, that 4-1, Justin Kluivert with the hat-trick. Nottingham, I keep wanting to say Newcastle. Nottingham Forest, still tied for 2nd place with Arsenal, have had a spectacular season, play brilliant football. I think this is going to be an absolute match.
I think I've been really impressed with Bournemouth. We saw their performance a week or so ago against Chelsea. It feels like it's longer than that, but it probably only has been a week. And you look at the way that Nottingham Forest have been surprising everyone this season. Playing Liverpool at Anfield, beating Liverpool, going toe-to-toe with them at the Forest ground. They're up there, level on points with Arsenal. They're only 6 points behind Arne Slot's side. And I look at Bournemouth as well. Andoni Iraola, he's done a fantastic job at Bournemouth. The recruitment he's done there, the players he's brought in, the way they play, it's exciting. They're gonna take teams to the edge in these games, and they're not going to sit back and defend. They're going to bring the game to them, and I think it will be a cracking game.
I think we also saw last weekend Nottingham Forest not slip up, but they did beat Southampton, but 3-2.
They had a little scare.
Little scary. You're talking about the worst team right now in the Prem, and now they have to go to Vitality Stadium. Cherries fans are going to be loud in this one. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Bournemouth to get another 3 points against a massive side.
Yeah, I can see them getting...
I didn't say they would, but this is the opportunity.
It's
You have
the
a
opportunity,
blunder against
definitely.
Southampton, a team that has been, they have 3 points? They're horrible. And you're Nottingham Forest, the way you've been playing, and they scored 2 goals on, they nearly drew the game. Bournemouth have to take this into their own hands, especially since they're playing at home. That's what I'm saying.
No, definitely. I mean, Bournemouth, like you said, they're pretty much one of the strong sides in the Premier League. But, Nottingham Forest, again, I think they would take every past game as a lesson learned, into going to the next one. And honestly, I still see them. I'm going to say something that's probably going to even, bust your minds. Nottingham Forest, they are more of a solid team than Barcelona this season.
Yeah, I think how many losses do they have this season?
Forest?
Lost 4 games. Barcelona have lost 5 in the league.
There you go.
There you go. And mind you, both leagues are different.
Totally.
I think it's hard to compare the two. I've been really impressed with Forest, going off what you said, Sarah, about Bournemouth coming into this game. Both sides, Bournemouth unbeaten in their last 10, Forest only 1 loss in their last 10, that was against City. I think both teams will come into this with confidence. Nottingham Forest will look at this and they'll look at their performance against Southampton and take the lessons that they would have learnt from that, and similar to City perhaps this weekend against Chelsea, use that as motivation. And boy, what a game we've got in hand.
I think so. We have Street Fighter here saying he thinks it's going to be 3-2 to Forest, but he also said that Man City are going to beat Chelsea 4-1.
Wow.
4-1.
Wow.
Sounds like us yesterday.
Sounds like an entertaining game.
To be honest,
4-1.
it's sounding like Cucurella is going to be in goal. I mean, I don't see that happening.
Clinton, you think Forest are going to be able to beat Bournemouth this weekend?
I mean, with what we've seen with Forest this season, I don't think there's anybody that's unbeatable for that team, both home and away.
Yeah.
We've seen them do it, a few times so far in the season. So I'm looking at Bournemouth. Yes, they are quite a solid teams, but I still see Forest taking it.
Fair enough. All right, well, Manchester United will be in action against Fulham on the weekend, but they will also be in action in less than an hour against Rangers. Clinton, I want to read you the lineup and just get your opinion, because we don't want to speculate too much on the Fulham match when they do have
something at hand.
Yeah, they do. So, Bayern for them in between the sticks, Lenny Yoro, Mateus de Ligt, and Lautaro Martinez, with Amad Diallo, Collier, Eriksson, and Dallo in the middle, and Bruno Fernandes, Joshua Zirkzee, and Alejandro Garnacho up front. Thoughts, concerns, substitutions you would make? Break it down.
Joshua Zirkzee starting over Highland in a European. I understand. Well, listen, I trust Amorim for me. Okay, whatever decision he takes, usually I just feel like people would always still argue that maybe the back three is still an issue for Manchester United and it's not something they are very used to. If there was something that would change for this Manchester United team, I would definitely come back to our normal back four just to have some extra security. But Lenny Yoro, he can be good at times. Sometimes he can also still sleep. Delay, Martinez, God. I see Amad Diallo in the game, and he's one of those glimpses of hope I always have. I'm seeing Bayern there, who, I'm just happy there's no Onana there. You see it, and like I said,
turntables.
like I said, one thing I would always say is always reward good performance with an extra performance. You see, we saw him perform extremely well against. What was the team they played, if you remember?
It was in the FA Cup against Arsenal, wasn't it?
Was it against Arsenal?
Yeah, we made those penalties.
Yeah. Was it against... Oh, yeah, I think, it was against Arsenal. Yeah, that's the one. And then after that game, obviously, I understand Onana has to play. He's a really expensive one, and he's the one that, owns that number 1 position. But with that performance that Aute had, I felt like, from that point, if you let me have my way, I would have him more often. And I was happy that Onana gave us a reason why we needed to bring this man in again.
Do you think it's Amorim slowly leaning towards Bayern?
I think
that
so.
mistake that Onana made for the goal against Brighton.
No, listen, you got to understand, that
because this
Amorim,
isn't FA Cup, this isn't.
I know this is European football. I know exactly. That's what I was literally going to say. I was going to say that. You got to understand who Amorim is, right? You've heard him in interviews. You see how he speaks. You could tell that this man is a discipline. How do you say? He's a disciplinarian, right? He doesn't take rubbish. Yeah. If you misbehave, they sit you out. He's doing it to Marcus Rashford at this point, and we know he's literally out the door already. Listen. I'm beginning to see out there being our first choice goalkeeper. Let's imagine he performs again tonight, right? It's not going to be on Amorim again. It's going to be on Manchester United and the fans screaming that, hang on, what is Onana still doing at the club? Like, why are you even starting him in games? Why is he even in a substitution? Like, any keeper right now is probably better than what he's doing for Manchester United. So, like I said, my only problem here is maybe Amorim should just try to think about, switching these formations up, saying, okay, I understand he did his back three, from being in Portugal, come to Manchester United. These players are used to our normal back four, the Premier League, and we've seen Manchester United perform even better with that back four. In this kind of game, I would have loved to see Maguire starting as well. Like you said, he might not be the best defender. However, my man, he's had all his experience with Manchester United. He's played games in, game out, and we know that he's capable. We know Harry Maguire is a very good defender when he wants to be. Sometimes he makes silly mistakes, but the question is how often do they really come?
Clinton, we have a question here for you, or actually rather a comment. Looking at Clinton's face makes me realize that supporting Manchester United is harder than getting your heart broken.
Well, the truth is, this person just mentioned two things that Manchester United does to you. Fact is, Manchester United, they literally break your heart. However, listen, I will still pick a Manchester United right now over a Barcelona, and I'll give you why, my reason. Can I tell you why?
It sounds like you're lost either way.
No, I'll tell you my simple reason, right? It's only because when Manchester United want to lose, they lose happily, yeah? And the fans know we are going to lose. We know we are losing. Okay, so at least if you're going
to be fair, you didn't think they were going to lose to Brighton last week.
I mean, yeah, I didn't. But no, listen, what I'm saying is during the game. Like, if we are losing, right? Barcelona is more of that thing of they are losing. They're making the fans think that, we are that solid Barcelona. But boom, they start losing. And then they come back when some of the fans would have committed suicide already, right? Like in the last game Barcelona had. And they've done it so many times, right? The last game, I'm sure that there are people who probably switched off their TV saying they're not watching the game anymore, not knowing that Rafinha was going to do some kind of crazy stuff. And boom, they win. So imagine a Barcelona fan who has broken their TV already, saying, I'm not watching it again. Or some of them have gone to drink in Nigeria what we call sniper, and they've already gone to meet God. Or, people have done crazy stuff. And boom, after you get to God, God is asking you why you are here. And you're telling God it's because Barcelona, they're messing things up. They keep losing games. And God is saying, hang on, wait. But they won the game. And bro, you can't even come back to earth again. Like, you're done. You see? So if Manchester United are losing, they are losing. We know that things are bad. We know they're... But anyways, for whoever made that comment, truly supporting a Manchester United at this point is not the easiest. But we pretty much know where we stand. And the team is very bad. There's a reconstruction that's needed for Manchester at this point. And we are not expecting so much. It's just going to be a team that's a work in progress. Whenever it happens, it happens. I'm not looking at Manchester as a top team at this point. It's just based on old glory. But my team is Real Madrid. So.
Okay. I don't even know what to say to any of that. I'd literally rather be anything than a Manchester United.
I totally agree with you too, honestly.
It's like, they've been bad for so long.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually... I was having this conversation with someone outside of work literally last week, and we were saying, it's been so long that they've been bad, and we were actually saying, we feel bad for Manchester United fans because it's at a point now where it's just every season, because they're not winning. I mean, I know they won the FA Cup last year, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not, consistently winning anything. But they're also playing, like, really, really heartbreaking football.
Listen, right now, Manchester. There's no difference between Manchester United. Sorry, Alex, for continuing. Right, I was just literally going to make one simple statement. Right now, yeah, there's no difference between Manchester United and an average team like Leicester in the Premier League. Sincerely, like they are just those teams that
Leicester won the league more recently than Manchester.
Oh, I know. But, well, okay. Wow, that's crazy, though. Damn, man.
Not wrong though. That's the craziest thing. I'm not wrong.
No, actually, you are right. I mean, honestly, no. The only reason I used Leicester was the fact that I mean they got maybe Crystal Palace and the rest of them, right?
Yeah,
but,
no, like a League One team.
Oh damn, man! Ay God, Sarah, man.
Okay, let's quickly move along to Arsenal taking on Wolves. It's the Sporty TV Premier League match of the weekend. Arsenal got a comfortable win. Actually, Alex, Gary got his prediction spot on, 3-0, a comfortable win for Arsenal. And now they're taking on Wolves at the Molineux. I'm going to ask Clinton first because I know he has very strong feelings about Arsenal. But do you see Arsenal getting a win here against a poor-performing Wolves this season?
No, me, definitely. You know, when you look at that, first of all, they are going in the right head shape, you know, facing Wolves. And, no, for real, though, because they've literally just won a Champions League game. Wait, what? Why are you guys?
For those of you wondering why we're laughing, look at the ticker that's come up on the screen about 5 or 10 seconds ago. Clinton's saying, my team now is Real Madrid.
No, my team has always been Real Madrid. No, so when I made that statement, I was trying to say that I don't have any other team. Like, my team is Real Madrid. Until Manchester decides to come back, I go to my original team.
Or Chelsea makes a run for the Premier League.
I mean, I always support... Yes, I love Chelsea when they perform. I love...
When they perform?
Yeah. Everybody loves good football.
You can't pick and choose.
No, but he does.
Listen. Okay. Let me make this official to everybody, right? I support Manchester United. Like, I'm a fan of Manchester United, right? For England. In Spain, Spanish football. You know, some of you only support one team. Like you're just a Barcelona fan.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry, but it actually drives me crazy when people have a team. In the Serie A, I'm AC Milan. in Spain, I'm Barcelona. And in, England, I'm Arsenal.
No, but listen,
what are you talking about?
No, but this thing is for safety, though. At least, like, okay, for example...
That's not how football works. You have to suffer when you suffer.
What do you mean?
You have to suffer when it's bad.
But what about some of us who don't have the mental capability of suffering, though? Like, does it mean we are lesser fans? That's the question, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
But
if you have
though.
7 teams, it means you're
No, but you're not allowed to have 7 teams. Like, you're allowed to have one in where you come from.
No.
For example,
because then what happens when, Manchester United play Real Madrid? Then what? Because in the Champions League, all these teams...
No, but they will never play. That was a past. It's never going to happen again.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you go
Goodbye. You can have a team in Nigeria, and then you can have Manchester United. That's it. That's it. I'm sick of this. Everyone having 7 teams.
Nah, but by everything, I'm a very huge Real Madrid fan, and obviously in England, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Talk to me about Arsenal.
Listen, Arsenal, they are definitely winning Wolves. That one is pretty much. It's going to be a very tough one. We've seen Arsenal flop against teams that you would not expect them to flop in, and sometimes it's always very silly mistakes. But like I said, they are going into this game with the very best headspace. Champions League game. Won comfortably. They say 3-0. They didn't concede any goal. And they're pretty much like comfortable at the top in the Champions League table. So I think, and mind you, the last game they had well, I would say the last 3 games for Arsenal, that's literally been wins, right?
Yeah, I mean, going into over the last sort of, I think, 20, 25 games, you look at their run across all competitions. They obviously had that defeat to Newcastle in the Carabao. They have, off the top of my head, I want to say they're just the one defeat in the Champions League. It was against Inter Milan. They're obviously second in the Premier League, 6 points.
Did they lose to Inter, or did they draw Inter 0-0?
No, they lost to Inter. I think it was their only defeat in the Champions League. Arsenal, looking at this game, Wolves, when they brought in Vitor Pereira, I was expecting, and they did have a little bit of an upturn. They beat Manchester United. They were playing some nice flowing football, exciting football, but I think Arsenal will have too much for Wolves, and they should get the result.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Let's see if Gary will be happy this weekend. We do have something very excited for you guys. Yesterday, we spoke to a legend of the game, former Chelsea, former Real Madrid, former Black Stars legend, Michael Essien, and he is a SportyBet Global Ambassador. On top of all of that, we asked him a little bit about this Man City and Chelsea match that's happening this weekend. Take a look at this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Sporty Show. Sarah Pararia, KlintonCod, and Alex Ashmore joining you today, but also a very special guest. He is a SportyBet Global Ambassador, a former Chelsea and Real Madrid star, as well as a legend for the Black Stars. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Michael Essien. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Always, of course. Let's dive right in. We have a big match this weekend with your former Chelsea taking on Manchester City at the Etihad. Can you tell me what you expect from this game?
I mean, of course, as being a Chelsea player many years ago, but I would love for them to go to Etihad to win for sure. I mean, I think both teams they've been struggling a lot at the moment, but it seems like they are getting back on their feet. So yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough one, but of course, I would love Chelsea to go there to get a win. So yeah.
Michael, you talked about that recent dip in form, and I'm going to focus on Chelsea here. Are you concerned by the bad form, or do you think they can turn it around and get back on track?
I mean, of course. I mean, as as I said earlier on, being playing there for many years, of course, I'm a bit concerned because I still have a lot of soft spot for the club, even though many things have happened, and of course, my favorite president is not there anymore. But anyway, we still have a soft spot for them, and of course, I mean, it's been a concern. They were deep in form and everything and stuff like that. But it looks like they are getting back slowly into to where they belong. So yeah. And as I said, it's not going to be easy because Etihad is always a difficult place to go. But if they can pull a win from there, it will be a good one for them.
Now, Michael, looking at this current Chelsea squad, who would you say is your favorite player to watch?
That's a good one, actually. But of course, I mean, everyone will say Cole Palmer because this kid came in and he's brilliant. He's doing everything from last year. And this year, the beginning of the season is he's doing well, and he's kind of one of the best of the in the team at the moment. But I think Moise Caicedo is doing really well, and he's getting back to his how we know him when he was at Brighton. So as a defensive midfielder, I would go for. I would, of course, it's Palmer, but of course, I would say Moise Caicedo because he's been brilliant recently. So yeah.
I mean, that sounded slightly political there, trying to put the both of them at the same time. But now, obviously, speaking about Cole Palmer, Michael, do you think that with everything he's doing for Chelsea at this point, he's putting his name there, leaving that legacy, Cole Palmer as a player? Do you think he's placing his name on that placard of all greats in Chelsea currently?
I think so. As a football person, I mean, let's go back to how he came to Chelsea because, he was at Man City then, and telling Pep, "I'm ready to play," and Pep was not finding a place for him in the team, so he has to leave. And he came to Chelsea. His first year was brilliant, and he's backing it up this year as well. It's not many players can do that, to be honest. It's not many players can do that, but he's doing it. Of course, he's got his very cool goal celebration, but it's for me, I think it's a top class. It's a top class, and he, of course, he's putting his name at Chelsea, of course, he's been in. I was looking the other day. He's been involved in many goals or assists or whatever, and it was only many years ago. It was only Hazard. So he's putting his name there, and of course, I wish him all the best, and hopefully, he will turn up to be one of the greatest Chelsea players.
You referenced Cole Palmer's ice-cold celebration. It's iconic at this point. But, Michael, when you were back at Chelsea, is there someone's celebration that was the most iconic at the time? Is there someone that comes to mind when you think of celebrations during your time at Chelsea?
Ellen, obviously, of course, Drogba. The king we call him. The king we call him. I mean, his celebration was second to none. And, you know, when you have Drogba on your side, you have 80% to win a game. That's what he always tells me. Give me the ball, I have 80% to score. And I would tell him, I score when the team need. So you can yeah, you can take the rest. So yeah, of course I'll go for Drogba. And of course I love Cole Palmer's celebration, and he's becoming a house name for himself. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see.
At the other side of this fixture, Michael, Manchester City, we've seen them go through a difficult run of form. Do you still see them in that title race? Do you think they still have what it takes to challenge Liverpool for that Premier League title?
Honestly, I think so. Yes, because when you look at their squad, their manager, of course, they've got everything to be there. And I think we also kind of surprised they got into that kind of form. No one was expecting it, but that's football. Sometimes it happens. But I think with a few games, 1 or 2 games they've played recently, I think they are getting back to their feet and they are getting back to where they belong. So yeah, of course, they're always going to be title contenders, and you know, but hopefully Chelsea can beat them for sure.
Looking at the man in the dugout for Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, how would you evaluate his first, I guess, 6 or 7 months at Stamford Bridge?
I mean, I would say good. I would say good because Chelsea is not an easy place to come for a manager. It's very top place to come, and of course, when he came, the beginning was a bit rough, but slowly he's putting things together, and the players are buying into what he's doing. So yes, I mean. For me, it's good. He's doing a great job at the moment, and hopefully he can continue like that. And of course, the results also he can back it up with the results. So, yeah.
Now, Michael, realistically, and this question, I don't want you to answer it as an all-time, Chelsea legend or a very big-time Chelsea fan, right? Where do you reckon Chelsea would finish this season?
I mean, of course, top 4 will be good. But I mean, when I look back, Chelsea, we don't go for anything other than winning the Premier League. You understand? But but then again, I mean, things have changed, and of course, the game is different. So yeah, of course, I wish for top 4 for them. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they can manage to achieve that.
My fingers are crossed for you, Michael, but another tricky one. Can I get a game prediction for this weekend's match, Chelsea, Manchester City, or rather Man City versus Chelsea?
I am very, very bad at predicting the games, but I would say, let me say 2-1 for Chelsea. Sure, of course. I want Chelsea to win, so yeah.
Maybe a little Cole Palmer goal, or?
That would be brilliant. The winning goal.
Winning goal.
Michael, the hard-hitting question now. Do you think you would get in this Chelsea team? And if so, who would you replace?
If I'm getting to this Chelsea team?
As a player.
In your prime, of course.
You guys are bad. I mean, you guys are bad. I mean, I don't know, man, but of course, there's a new generation, and of course, the game is, and I'm sure I'll get a place in the team. But being a very a very modest person, I would just stay back and watch them, and hopefully they do well.
A modest person. Damn, man. I wish I was that humble. If I was given that question, I would have been benching like 4 players.
See ya,
already.
Enzo.
Now, but Michael, please listen to this particular one, okay? This is a start, bench, or sell question. Okay.
Oh.
You have Essien, Michael Essien, you have Michael Ballack, and then you have Lampard. Who do you sell? Who do you bench? Who do you start?
I swear that you guys are bad. when, when giving me this question, I mean, I will start by saying, we managed to play all three of us in the same first 11. But I mean, as I said, being modest and being humble, I will say myself, I will bench Ballack, and I will play Lampard, because with Lampard you're gonna get goals. So that would be.
Then he would sell himself.
Yes.
Nice guy. Those are his friends. Come on. All right, Michael, one more fun little one as well before we move on to some Real Madrid questions for you. I'm going to give you a player from Man City and Chelsea, and you have to tell me, based on the position, who are you taking right now? Players in current form. Obviously, we know there's a lot of injuries. Let's start off. Nicholas Jackson or Erling Haaland?
Ooh. Oh, I would say Haaland for sure. I would say Haaland. Yeah.
Fair enough. Cole Palmer or Kevin De Bruyne?
I would say Cole Palmer, because I mean, De Bruyne, he has had some injuries, so he hasn't played many games, and he was my ex-teammate, so of course, based on that, I will choose Cole Palmer, because he's been consistent.
Absolutely. Sanchez or Ortega?
As a Chelsea man, I will pick. I think I'll go for Sanchez. I'll go for Sanchez.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Because I think he's played many games, and Ortega comes in and out. So if that makes sense.
yeah. It's all on you. Don't worry. Jadon Sancho or Savinho?
I'll pick Sancho. I'll pick Sancho because of how he managed to get to Chelsea, and the whole thing about him at United, and it's not easy sometimes. We talk about mental health and stuff like that. It's not easy, and then he came to a club that's got many players in his position, and seeing him, I think gradually is getting back to his best. So of course I'm gonna give him all the support, and of course I want to see him doing well. So yeah, I'll go for Sanchez. Yeah.
I love that. I love that answer. Marco Correa or Gvardiol?
I think I'll go for Correa, because I think he's doing really well.
Sorry, for
I'll go
Correa.
I'll go for Correa.
Okay.
Right.
I'm
I'll go
noticing a
for
trend
him.
here. I'm noticing a bit of a trend. All right, two more for you, Michael. Enzo Fernandez or Bernardo Silva?
I think I love them both, but I'll go for Silva. Yeah, I think he's a top class. He's a top class player. I'll go for him, no matter what.
Okay, finally we have Rico Lewis or Reece James.
I'll pick Rico Lewis, because he's having a many game time, and he's doing well. As much as I love Ruiz, I've known him since he was at the club, since he was a baby. But with being in and out of the team with injuries and stuff like that, not having many games, of course I have to be honest. I have to be modest, and would pick Rico ahead of him.
Well, 3 Man City players made it, so not too bad, Michael. Absolutely brilliant speaking with Michael Essien yesterday. A friendly reminder that next week we will release part 2 of this interview where Michael Essien talks a little bit about Real Madrid. Did you guys have fun speaking with him yesterday?
No, absolutely, man. I think he was very pleasant to speak to. It was very fun as well. Least expected, to be honest. But yeah, he was very. I love his vibe.
No, it was a pleasure, and I think I was saying this to you yesterday, Sara. Sometimes when you speak to people and you're in awe of them, and it's, you know, he's a legend of the game. We've seen how what he did at Chelsea and the other clubs he played for, and of course Ghana. And I think I was trying to flash back to when I was about 7 or 8 years old, when I think I'm pretty sure I met him. I'm trying to remember if I did, but if you'd have said to me at 7 or 8 years old that I would get to ask him some questions in an interview, I wouldn't have believed you. So yeah, no, a real pleasure to talk to him, a true gent and a legend of the game.
Clinton wants to go to the, sorry, Alex, that was really sweet, but KlintonCod interrupted. He wanted to go to what the poll in our YouTube saying which team does he support, Real Madrid, 55, Manchester United. My favorite part was Esther saying Clinton low-key supports Barca, and then Street Fighter saying it wouldn't even shock me.
Well, okay, well.
If you want to take 18 people's votes, then you can absolutely do that. But we all know you're a United
but the
fan,
person that said Barca, come on. Well, I mean, let's.
You have days where there were days in October where you supported Barca. Depends on who's playing well. Loves Atalanta. Leverkusen with his boy Boniface.
Let's let everybody know though. I was originally a Barcelona fan, so that lady Barcelona was the first team I went to watch in my life with my son when he was 3 years old. Like Camp Nou with Lionel Messi. That was the only first game.
Did you cry?
Ronaldinho. No, I mean, I didn't at the time because my son was crying. So I didn't want the both of us to cry at the same time. But listen, Ronaldinho made me a Barcelona fan. I loved everything about the club. But then the big boys took me away.
Yeah, that's exactly how you know that KlintonCod is not a true football fan. Because if you can jump from Barcelona to Real Madrid, I can't even. That's grim, Alex.
I think I've never thought I'd do this, but I'm comparing you to Luis Figo.
Oh,
wow. Luis Figo.
Take it as a compliment.
All right, okay, all right, cool. I know, because the thing is, everything you say, towards me, I don't. There's always something negative about it. That's the thing.
If a
there's
British,
a sneaky.
if a British person
underneath.
if a British person is saying something to you that you think is either insulting, offensive, or negative, it's because they get along with you very well.
Right. Okay. That's a very good information.
It's our way of charming people.
Lovely. Great. Okay. Okay. I think I'll need to know that information for when I get through to England for the British women. Let's see. Oh, no, please don't say that. Rubbish. Oscar says. Don't try. Because this show will end bloody.
Oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about it. You did it to yourself.
Okay, right.
All right, that's enough. We've had enough here, guys. It's just gotten silly at this point. We will be back on Monday, looking back at the weekend that was Man City and Chelsea. Lots and lots of football action. Man United in action tonight. So we'll see how it all goes. We have that second part of the Michael Essien video also to be released, next week. But there's so much football until then, guys. So as always, please enjoy the football.
Boo! I love that one, man. Look at Vinny doing the airway for me. Oh, man.